You have now entered the championship mindset. I want you to join us on a journey of excellence, let go of your fears, and reach the best you. That's what we're doing on a daily basis, and that's the championship mindset. That's the essence. I want to go back to like the different coaching styles. Where you talked about like some coach will communicate this way, another might communicate this way. How many people like will blow up an opportunity because something wasn't said right, or they'll ruin their whole day because some menial interaction was off-putting or awkward or something like that. The sports develop this resiliency towards goal achievement. Do you find that still happening in your life? Do you find you still using that skill?
100% every day, every day, every day, Monday through Sunday, every day. I mean, not only in the work field, but also in being a father.
Get in the chat, ask questions.
Raise my kids,
I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Be your best self. Be a champion.
Sports and making those relationships in sports, and it's the same today for me in my profession in the broadcasting world, and running a major radio station. Everything I do with the people that work with me, I'm the captain of the team, but we all the captain at our position. And so a lot of what I do here is not necessarily, it's team. Everything we do, we do something good. It's team. We did it, and I use we a lot with my staff, and no, you did it, Mark. No, we did it. You had your role. You had your part. So it's always a team environment. Even today, I use that with people I work with, and some of them have never played a sport, but when they leave here or when they're no longer working here with me, they're gonna remember the team aspect because if I buy lunch for myself, I buy lunch for everybody. If I we have any type of functions or any type of success or anything here, it's we did this, and that type of culture has followed me forever, for my whole life, and it'll follow me, and hopefully my kids will continue that legacy because being able to be on a team and know your role, and because I'm the quarterback, that don't mean I'm the smartest person on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always a part of me, and everything I do and everything I say and how I communicate is almost like a coach. I'm like the coach now of the radio station.
Yeah.
And I have these different people that I have to coach, and not in a way where I'm telling them how to do their job, but just more or less in a way where if you got a question or if you need some help with something, or and vice versa, if I need a question or help with something, I'm gonna go to my coach. I'm gonna go to the person that I work with or my teammate and say, hey, look, I'm having a little bit of problems in this area, or this situation. How can you maybe assist me or maybe give me some ideas on how I can make this situation better? So to answer that question, team has always been me. I've always, like I said earlier in the segment, I've won a lot of accolades and a lot of individual awards in my life in high school, JUCO, university, in the pro. I've won a lot of accolades, individual awards, but all those awards, I would give them up for a championship.
Mm-hmm.
I would give them up to be on a team where everybody has got that winning mentality, and that's the same thing here. I hire people sometime or interview people, and I look at their resume and I see if they play sports in high school, college. I look and see if they've been on a team and a job. There's some jobs out there that only hire athletes.
Mm-hmm.
There's some jobs out there that only hire people that have some type of sports background, and that's kind of what I started doing as well. I mean, not that doesn't mean that they won't be hired if they didn't play sports, but I just want to see what their background. I've had coaches. To me, that's a vital part of our life. Is the coach that you interact with, and the coach that either is going to tear you down, or the coach that's going to give you that hard and tough love. And sometimes a coach can be the difference in a kid making it and not making it. I mean, the right coach. And, sometimes, that translates into the work field as well, where you might have a bad boss that just don't know how to communicate, but their heart is in the right place, but they just don't know how to communicate.
The
So
skill, the
yeah,
skills of leadership.
yeah, and they don't have that, and not in a lot of places, big companies. I know a lot of big companies they don't because the CEO don't have it. That doesn't mean it's a bad company. It's just he wasn't given those tools, or he didn't really understand how to speak to his teammates. And
You know what? That's a fantastic segue because I did want to talk about your broadcast. Yeah, and I know I'm running out of time. I could talk to you all day
yeah, no,
about a lot
all
of
good, man. Like I said,
things.
we can always do it again. And like I said, I'm always, like I told you, I'm always here for you. Anything you need, I'll jump
I
on it.
I want our audience to hear a little bit about broadcasting, and this is why I think it's so powerful because we just talked about the influence of a voice. If it's interpersonal, some teacher telling you you can't make it or telling you you can make it, some coach saying, you know what, maybe you're not the best linebacker, but hey, you can play defensive end and probably really excel. And let's try it. Let me not just give up on you. Let me keep trying opportunities for you to succeed. You have a broadcast. You have an ability to get your voice out there. And I want to kind of, if you can, peel back the onion about like what type of confidence it takes to be a speaker on that level, to have like a gravity and the skill to tell us a little bit about your broadcast and the types of shows you do, and then like that being a journey itself, like just growing in the space, becoming a influence in the space. Was that learning curve similar to football, similar to sports?
Because I always said once I couldn't play no more, once I always want to walk away from the game on my own terms, and I did that. I walked away from the game on my own turn. It wasn't quite 100% what I wanted to, but it did. I walked away on my own terms, and um, how I got to, I always just said I'm not playing, I'm a coach, I'm a train, or I'm going to talk about it. And I've done all three. And unfortunately, my path is similar to a lot of people's path. It wasn't easy. Like I said, when I got done playing, I started coaching, and my son was a big part of that. I started coaching his youth team, and I did that for many years on the youth level, from 5 or 6 years old till he got about 12 or 13, getting ready for high school. I coached him and other kids and trained them in the off season. So I was a youth coach, and then I also um, had always been a youth head coach, but also I had a training facility that I brought the kids in, and I showed them how to train their bodies at 6 and 7 years old. I wasn't they wasn't lifting weights, but they were just using their body weight, and swimming pool and tennis courts. We did a lot of things that you did require them to lift weights, but I was able to show a lot of kids how to train their body when they were young. So I took those two and really did a good job as far as training a lot of kids and teaching parents, how to be, good parents and not try to live through their kids. So I had to train parents as well. Like, I only got one football. It's only one football, and every kid can't have a ball. And so
Hmm.
not only was I teaching the kids, but I also had to sit down and give a parent one-on-one class to where these parents wasn't thinking their kids were going to go to the NFL. So I had to train parents as well. And so, um, once I did those two things for many years, um, opportunity came up in the broadcasting world where I could talk to people about sports, something I'm passionate about. But I also was able to go out and shake hands with a lot of casino owners, a lot of business owners in the town, the Chamber of Commerce. I was able to do a lot of those things through broadcasting, and kind of fast forward to, I started off as just kind of an account manager, and managed a lot of accounts for the radio station. I had over 350 accounts that I managed, and um, and then I, just kind of took that to another level where I start running the station. And I wanted it to be a more sports oriented station, so um, we broadcast the Dodgers. I did their post game show for 4 years. Had the Clippers for a couple of years, and I broadcast the Clipper games. I did that for 3 years, and then USC currently is one of the teams that I broadcast for here locally. So I broadcast the post game show for USC Trojans, and um, I did BYU Cougars for a few years. I've also been on the broadcast with the Bears. So I've had a lot of affiliation with the college and the NFL. Um, and then currently we're broadcasting the Ram games. And so when you become an affiliate like that, which that was my goal, is to become an affiliate for different sports teams that I can air the games here. Um, and then they give me the invite to all the home games, any games that I want to go to. And I can also either do it on the road or I can do it from wherever I'm at. Post game, after every game, we talk about, kind of the recap the game. And so, and then interviewing a lot of different coaches. Pretty much for each of those teams, I've interviewed all the coaches. I had Lincoln Riley on last year. I'm looking forward to having McVay on this year, and his staff. I got a couple of coaches that are actually on the Rams staff that was one of my recruiting coordinators who recruited me to play at UNLV. So, I'll have players and coaches on, and just to keep my foot ingrained in something positive, because again, this is the second phase of my life where there is a Mark Hayes that somebody out there that want to get into the broadcasting field. And if I can bridge that gap, I can help them do that. I can open up a couple doors, which I've done already for a lot of young men that want to get in the broadcasting field. Because and one thing about most professions, especially TV and broadcast and radio and media, it's like a fraternity. Once you get in, you're in forever. It's just getting in, the hard part. And so, I just wanted to be able to open some doors for a lot of young broadcasters and analysts. Do a lot of intern programs where people can come in and hone their skills. And I've got guys go work for Fox and ESPN. And so opening those doors for young men like me that just need an opportunity, if I could do that and open up doors, and as I get into the lighter part of my career, um, have these young men and women that want to get into broadcasting come here, build their resume, and then move on and go to different places. I'm successful because if I can help other people knock down some doors that I tried to get in and I couldn't get in, but I can help them get in it, that makes my day.
I love that.
I'm transitioning, but I carry it all the same, just like I did with football. I mean, I want people to look up to me and know they can pick up the phone and call me if they need a question broadcasting, or if they need a media credential, or if they're trying to open up a door, they can use my name as a reference. Because in 15 years in this business, I built a really good reputation as far as the people and a lot of people that I've interviewed, a lot of people that I've talked to. Every now and then I got to remind them about an interview, or I talk to them about it, because a lot of these people don't remember because they interview so many people. And
you gotta
forget
the little people.
Their memory a little bit, and I try to do that, but just overall, I wanted to be that bridge, because it's not easy getting into TV.
It's not.
Or radio, and when you got somebody that is there that can turn a key. I mean, funny story, last couple of days ago, I had one of my younger broadcasts who's branched off in the Dallas area, sent me an email, and he got invited to see the Vice President Harris speak. And a lot of the reason he got in was because he had that background in the media. He was doing things that, from the media standpoint, and just needed me to open up a door for him. And he ran through the door, and now he's interviewing the vice president. So,
You know, I love that story because it kind of leads us to where we want to talk about mental health, and maybe that can be kind of the topic we kind of finish off on. But there's so many elements to mental health. A lot of it has to do with expectations of a success versus the trials that you have on the way, the support. You've discussed so many of these things on your own success journey. You know, positive peers, positive coaches, things that weren't so positive that just had to kind of wake you up, right? I find myself in a mentorship role as a teacher and a coach, and I've taken students that were scared to raise their hand to ask for help to speaking and publicly and leading organizations, just starting with baby steps. I had a quarterback. We were at a 7-on-7, and our team was just flat. And yeah, I could have pumped people up, but I went to our quarterback and said, "Man, this team needs your voice. They need your personality. They need you to play outwardly instead of only being playing your own game." Right? That's a level. But as a quarterback, as a senior leader, you have to start showing your personality out here because it's going to inspire others, right? So like, where what's the playing field for that arena? Mental health. What are the things that people need to be aware of, young people, and where are the resources where they can find some sense of like hope, confidence, and be prepared for that game because it's just as arduous and it's always like visceral. You know what I mean? Like I'm hungry. Like you said, I'm hungry. I don't have a surety of where I'm going to stay. These are detriments to young people's mental health. What's your message to start that conversation?
well, mental health is probably the number one thing that we don't talk about enough. Um, Even in the college arena, even in the professional arena, coaches and players. I think mental health is so taboo now, where us growing up in our different environments, and us growing up, some people without a father, some people without a mothers because they had to work, and so you was almost left raising yourself. And um, mental mental health is probably the number one thing that I say that if we treated mental health the way we treat wins and losses, we would probably be in a better place mentally. Um, when a person wins, they are on cloud nine. They win the championship, the trophies is raised, the banners are raised. When they lose, you get an earful. You talk about what you didn't do right, how you could have played better. But when you have mental health, it's very taboo because a lot of athletes, they see it as a sign of weakness, men and women. Because I've trained and coached both men and women. They see it as a sign of weakness because growing up, we never had that opportunity to have an outlet when it came to going through some things with somebody that might be bullying us, somebody that might be um, calling me names, or somebody that might be picking on me. We never was taught to mentally deal with it. We used violence. We we eliminated ourselves, or we didn't go tell nobody. And all those resources are available, but they don't tell you that they're available. You have to go out and search and find uh, therapists and things like that. But our culture, and I'm when I say our culture, I mean the black culture, we weren't taught or raised to show from men were show a sign of weakness. And so what we did is we bottled it up, and then we released it in the wrong way or in the wrong arena. We released it with violence. We released it with, you just became angry. No, this is something that's just over time the person got angry because nobody dealt with their mental health. What I've seen over the years is where it's always something that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to understand why that young man or that young woman just took their life, or why we didn't see the signs from this guy who just took a car and got into an accident
Yeah.
and passed away. So if we understand the signs of a person that's going through a mental health crisis, then we can understand how to deal with it. But society doesn't want us to deal with it because the first thing you do when you go to a doctor or you tell somebody you're having a bad day, they say take a nap, or you might need to eat, or you might be dehydrated. No, this person might need to sit down and talk to somebody because they're dealing with a lot of things in their life that they can't handle, and a lot of it starts right at the front door where our parents didn't go see therapists.
No.
I just, as I've gotten older, and I've seen a couple of therapists in my life, and it has helped me. But growing up, if you said therapist in the house, you probably got in trouble, or you probably was told, "Why you need to go see a therapist? We can't
But
afford it. We don't have
you
insurance."
I had my BA's in psychology, and there's this fallacy of normal, right? So if I'm feeling like I want to cry and I'm a teenage boy, I can't show that to my peers or out in public because something's wrong with me. This idea that normal teenage boys don't shed a tear ever, you know, grown men, when they're real men, don't, shed a tear, they don't complain. These are fallacies. And that's why I told you during the pre show, I really want this audience to hear real conversations and to really challenge these social fallacies that lead to greater experiences of trauma, because everybody experiences trauma, but not everybody's prepared to heal from it. Not everybody has the support and guidance to move through it. Everybody's going to experience loss, gain and losing that thing, not knowing what's next. Those are natural things. So how do we create this new normal for people? And where are some places that, like, if somebody's listening and it's like, dang, that kind of feels like me, and they're hearing you, I want to give you like the last word. Like, what are some things they should just kind of sense in themselves, and some opportunities to reach out that they might have?
Well, I mean, there one thing that I know a lot of in young men, and we're doing a show on mental health with a mental health professional, and a lot of what the young men and young women go through athletics mentally, those are the same things that are going through with adults in their mental state, because we see it a lot with adults as well, and not really wanting to deal with or believing in therapists or believing in that they can get help. And so I think what somebody is listening now and they want to know, I think the first thing to do is, if you're an athlete, contact the school, a guidance counselor, contact the school psychologist, contact somebody in your network. If you're in even high school, they have psychologists, and they can direct you to therapists or guidance counselor. I say reach out to them to start, and they have information at all these different levels of sports or professional world. They have resources. The only thing now with resources, if you don't ask for them or tell people that you're feeling this certain way, you'll never get the help. I think people have to open up more and talk about what they're going through, um, with somebody that they can trust, whether it be a coach, whether it be a mentor. You have to open up to this person, because if you outward looking in and you looking at somebody, they're gonna look like a regular person that's day to day life. They're not gonna look like something nothing is wrong, but inside they're getting ate up alive. And
Yeah.
then one day you might not hear from them, and you wonder why. And something tragic has happened, and it could have been prevented. Could you have stopped it? Could you have prevented it? You don't know unless you was put in that position where you could have gave that person some advice. And I just people, if you have a mentor, or if you have somebody um, that you can trust and believe in, whether it's a family member, a relative, a cousin, an uncle, a grandparent, or even me. Like I said, you can always reach me. Like that, when we start doing that and opening up to people and to people that have those resources, I think mental health. I don't think we can ever find the cure for mental health, but I think open up and talking to people and letting people know what you're going through, that's a start. Because everybody bottles up their feelings. Men don't even, you're not supposed to show crying as a sign of weakness. And so when you're raised like that, you don't open up enough and you don't let it out until it's too late. Now you're at the point where you're so angry, you did something that you're going to regret. And I think that is probably the biggest thing I can deliver to people to say. Contact somebody in your circle. If you don't have a circle, contact a network. You can either now go online and find a mental health professional and talk to somebody, because I think talking is probably the beginning of how this thing can get a little bit better. We can bridge the gap because a lot of people don't want to talk, especially as athletes. If I'm going through something with my girlfriend, I ain't gonna tell nobody.
Yeah.
If I'm going through something with my parents, I'm not even gonna tell nobody until it's too late. Now I didn't snap. Now I'm being charged with something that probably could have been prevented.
And the other side is that we got to be good listeners sometimes. Sometimes your bro is reaching out to you, and your first instinct is to make a joke or something, or to make light of something, and that person might have been kind of hiding, like just trying to test you out, just like, hey, can I really talk to you about something that's real? And the reaction they get, sometimes that shuts them down forever. They don't want to do it again, especially if it's somebody close to them. So I think we really got to see each other more. It's it's great when you're in that team environment because people have this natural sense to want to know you and to be in the trenches together and to want to support you. So reaching out to teammates has always been a fantastic way to build community and strong social networks. So
That's the thing. Like we all go through our different valleys. We all go through our different emotions, and sometime reaching out to somebody, it could. I mean, I've seen it save a lot of people's lives. I've seen it save a lot of people from going off the deep end and doing something that they will regret tomorrow. Like with my own kids, like I raised them through sports. I mean, that's how I bonded with my kids, and because it was something we loved. I love watching them. I love coaching them. I love training them, and so that is a big thing when it comes to mental health, because when the lights go out, even when the lights are on, it's hard. But when the lights go out, that mental side, it really becomes detrimental. It's like when the lights are on, you getting a pat on the back, you getting a rah rah autograph signings, you getting to get into these places for free, don't pay for nothing, got a little, getting paid. But when those lights go out and nobody's cheering for you, or nobody's clapping for you, or nobody's asking you for an autograph, or nobody is inviting you to an event, that's when your mental health really becomes detrimental to a person's lifestyle, because now all the stuff that made you feel like somebody is completely gone, and now you don't have nothing, and it's like now you feel like you're not worth nothing.
yeah,
So that's important too when it comes to being an athlete. I mean, when the lights are on, man, everybody is great, everybody is loving life, everybody's patting on the back, everybody's signing autographs. But as soon as the lights go out and it's over, or you can't play that sport or get that uh, rah rah that community anymore, now your mental health becomes very important, because now you got to figure out where you gonna get that where you gonna get that rush from, where you gonna get that excitement from, and if you don't have it, a lot of people, a lot of players, they isolate themselves away from society, they isolate themselves away from family, and and if they're not getting somebody to give them some type of, because one thing about athletes, we have grown up in a structure. We have had a structure our whole entire life when it comes to being an athlete. Even in the work field, it's a structure, right? You get up, go to class, you go to the workout, go to the film, you go to practice, boom, and you repeat that for 4 years. And so when you don't have that structure, and I watch my daughter, my own child, go through it, and she had me, and I told her, I said, when you done playing and you can't kick that soccer ball no more, what is going to be your next journey? And she didn't know. She didn't know because she was like, Dad, I'm used to being told to go work out. I'm used to being told what time to be at practice. I'm used to being told all these different things. Now nobody's telling me. And that can affect your mental side as well.
Yeah, you got to find something to be passionate about. Reinvent yourself. I found myself in stagnation, those valleys you talked about. And if you're okay being a learner and starting from scratch and starting anew, then things tend to work out. Oh, I'm back on. Can you hear me? Yeah, I was just saying that like you have to you got to stay in the game. It's never going to be a place where you just made it. Michael Jordan is holding his trophy, getting the champagne, and that's a night. It's captured in eternity with a picture, but the next day, the man's got to wake up and deal with what's happening in his life and what's next. Even a man so great as that. So,
It, man, you're 100% right. And that's why you see so many athletes now. It's they're playing till they can't even, they can barely walk and barely run. I mean, these guys are playing till they 40 and 41 and 42 and 43. Look at Tom Brady and LeBron. Like these guys are playing. It ain't that they playing for money. It's not that they playing for trophies. These guys are playing because they know that the second half of their life, what am I going to do? So these guys are putting that businesses and investing
yeah.
and doing all these things because when they do get done playing, they want to be able to walk into a structure of something that they can be a part of because in every profession it's a structure. You know what time you got to be at work. You know what time you take your lunch. You know what time you get off. You know your
It's
off day.
healthy. It's
Yeah,
healthy.
so it's just like I know that routine.
They say the monks, the Buddhist monks that have reached nirvana, they wake up early in the morning and sweep their porch just like everybody else.
It's the truth, man. And then, like I said, people think, oh, you got all this money, you don't shouldn't have nothing to worry about. That's not the case. I mean, because money ain't really gonna bring you structure. Money ain't gonna bring you happiness. Money is gonna take care of your expenses and your lifestyle, but these guys still have a hard time dealing with, post sports or post whatever, field they're in. And it's a tough thing to deal with. And I see a lot of athletes now, it's like they don't who have retired a couple years or 2 years ago, still they're still trying to find out what they are passionate about because they've been passionate about football for 25, 30 years. They don't know anything that can substitute the football and the life they had with football. So, or just any sport, not just football, but just any sport. They don't really know what to do or how to do it. And we see it today and on the media, guys, getting arrested, guys getting,
Yeah.
domestic trouble with the girlfriends and all these things because they don't really have nothing in place to substitute that life of football or basketball, baseball, whatever it was. They wasn't prepared for what the second, what's next in their life. So, it's just that mental health is probably the most important thing that we have to deal with now because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to talk. A lot of people don't want to communicate. A lot of people don't want to tell people there's something wrong with me. I'm having these thoughts, and I got people, voices in my head, like all that. If you express that to somebody and not try to just deal with it on your own, maybe that person can give you some good advice, and knowing who you can go talk to, because
Yeah.
I, I can't go talk to somebody if we just if you haven't experienced it or been through it. It's hard to talk to somebody when you're going through something. So you
Yeah,
gotta
you need a coach again. You need a yeah, you know, somebody who can help you through that. Mark, where can people listen to your shows? How can people follow, you know, what you're doing and the mission that you still forwarding?
Oh man, I'm here. The website is kshp.com. That's just our overall website. But um, I mean, my shows is I do 11 shows a week, and they got the app. You can go to KSHP Vegas. I do 11 shows a week, mostly mornings, like 9 to 11, and in the afternoon on kshp.com from 5 to 6. During football season, I'll be doing USC. So if you're in the local area, or if you're listening to the USC game on TV or on radio locally, um, you can always listen through our app and then our radio station. We'll be carrying USC, and then after the USC game, we'll do a post game show on kshp.com. And then the Rams, we just got the Rams, so we'll be carrying all the Ram games here in Las Vegas regional. And then the post game show can be heard on kshp.com. And you can also listen to the games on KSHP Listen Live app. So,
Yes, sir.
and 702 902 2385. If anybody just need to talk or need some advice about life, I got a doctor in house if you need a therapist. I mean, now with the mobile, I mean, everything being remote, you can have a
Yeah.
remote conversation. So, pretty much anything that I can help with. Like I told you in the beginning, I'm here. That's how they can reach me. If they go through you, I mean,
Yeah, I'll put your links in the bio and when I'm sharing this.
anything like that. Even if it's somebody out there that want to get into broadcasting, if I can help, send me a resume. If I can open up a door here, I do internships, 3 or 4 interns a year. So, it's always opportunities. If you're in Vegas, but LA, anything I can do to help, I'm definitely here. And I can open up a few doors if you need me to.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna follow up with you on that because I feel like people really they just again they need some support. They need high expectations. Sometimes they're gonna need a little help, and whether that's on the field, in business, or in mental health, we're gonna start that conversation for them. I can't leave without giving a shout out to our community. Hey, Bellflower. It's we keep on talking about it. The audience like where in the hell is Bellflower? Little suburb, right? Bellflower was such a healthy community growing up in the late '80s, early '90s. True diversity, true authenticity, right? We're one city over from Compton, Paramount, in between Long Beach and LA. So you gonna get all swaths of life come into that little enclave, and everybody being like, you know what, we can be our own thing. It's okay to be cool, being positive. It's okay to be cool out the streets. And that has been like a perpetual mindset for me. When I go to Watts, to LA, I kind of let them know like, yeah, I dress with a collared shirt, but I'm as real as they come, and that's okay. I don't have to show my realness with like a costume. Let's have real conversations. I want you to be great. That's what I want you to think is cool. And I learned that in Bellflower, man. I know if I had grown up in some other elements, I probably would have had more pulls away from my power and my success. But people, if they're just here in Bellflower, it's a great community. Mark, you are still a legend from that community, sir. Thanks for
Yeah, I
coming
do
out,
want to
man.
throw something else out there before I get off, man. I do got the Mark Hayes Broadcasting Scholarship at Bellflower, man. We started it last year, 2023. So I definitely want to throw anybody that's at Bellflower High, got kids that's going to Bellflower and they play any sports. Every year, it's called the Mark Hayes Broadcasting Scholarship. If you're going to major in broadcasting, if you're planning to broadcast, we're giving out a scholarship every year to one or two students.
I love that, man. Giving back to the community.
Yeah, man. That's like
awesome.
you said, man. That's homegrown, man. I you know, every time I wear my bead, people think they like, oh, you like the Buccaneers? I'm like, Bellflower Buccaneers. They Bellflower,
Yes.
California, not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But no, man, that's real important to me too, man. I definitely almost forgot to say it, but yeah, we started it in 2023, and we're gonna continue it, man, as long as I'm here, and hopefully my kids will continue the legacy of giving back to my city, man. I didn't know how to do it. I support the football team 110%, man, at games, provide meals, you know, helping with tournament fees, you know, kids that don't maybe have, you know, things, they spirit packs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always just kind of looking out for all the kids that's on the team. So, you know, I definitely want to find something I can do that can annually that can help kids that want to go into the broadcasting field. And, you know, me and some of the staff and athletic department, and vice president, and, you know, some people over there help me put it together. And, you know, every year we definitely look forward to giving kids an opportunity at least to have some money towards their college.
Yes, sir. Well, Mark, thanks for stopping by, man. We'll see you soon.
Man. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
anytime you need me, man. I'm proud of you, man. Keep going, man, because there's people looking at you, and you know the younger generation. You know, just keep being a role model, man. And I know through coaching, you know, that's important. And just keep doing what you're doing, and you know, man, making sure you know all those young guys you train and coach, and the young people that you teach, man, they definitely look up to you, and you know we got to be a role model to the younger culture. Even though the culture is a little different,
Yeah.
you know, there's still kids that are looking up to us every move we make. And social media now, you got to be even more aware of what you're posting and you know things like that, because you know that you know it's easy for somebody to build a legacy and somebody to try to tear it down.
Yeah. So
So
we'll catch you on the next time of Championship Culture.
anytime, man. Anytime.
See you soon.
Get in the chat, ask questions. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Be your best self. Be a champion.